Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday Wire. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. We're streaming out live on the Alternate Current Radio Network, also at 21stCenturyWire.com, X. We may be also streaming out on Rumble, hopefully, BitChute, and of course, YouTube, as usual, and also on our other X account at 21stCenturyWire.com. And what an amazing segment. You know, there's so many other things I wanted to ask Dr. Zachary Foster during that segment, but we just didn't have the time. So, we managed to squeeze quite a lot into an hour. Really, that was only scheduled, that segment, for about 40 minutes. Zachary gave us an extra 25 minutes, which we really appreciate. He is working around the clock, very hardworking scholar, researcher. He's doing so much on this issue, and what he's providing in terms of a public resource. That's why you want to follow Zachary Foster on X, because his feed is, in terms of quality of information, relevancy, it's second to none. He is really doing incredible work. And I would also recommend, if you really wanted to get au fait on these issues, and you've heard him talk and you know how incredibly well informed he is, consider taking one of his courses, his online courses, because it's top quality. Himself, Princeton alumni, PhD in history. I mean, he's just incredibly well qualified. What a brilliant resource for all of us, anyway. But I want to bring the team back on from ACR. We've got the crew just off to the side on stage. Before we do that, I want to give a big shout out here. Our winter fundraising drive is on at 21st Century Wire. Listen, folks, this is a lot of free content which we provide, and we made a decision a long time ago that we want most of our content to be free. We do have some members content, some paid content, which we do put up periodically, but most of this is free. So if you like what we do and you want us to keep doing this and spread the word, plus all of our social media accounts, which we're working full time on, 21st Century Wire, we have independent journalists who work for us, doing some fantastic pieces and some really groundbreaking work on a number of key subjects. Every day, there's content at 21st Century Wire, plus our podcasts, plus the Sunday Wire as well. So if you like what we do and you want to support us, we really need your help. We take cryptocurrency, credit card, PayPal, donations, any amount, or subscribe and become a member monthly at 21wire.tv. Very inexpensive, but you'd be helping us load. So I know some of you guys love this program. You like what we do and the way that we cover the issues. If you do, really, we need your help. This is the time of year where we raise the money to fund the next 12 months of the operation. So we are a listener and viewer funded, audience funded independent media platform, been going since 2009, late 2009. So we've been around for a while, and we're going to stay doing what we're doing, and we're getting better at it, as you can see from a lot of the content output of last year. And we have a lot more we're going to be adding to our repertoire, try to improve it a little bit each year. And I think we got a big leap forward in 2025. How big that leap is depends on you. So you guys need your help, especially our loyal listeners. You guys have come through in the clutch for us before. We really need your help. But thank you for your support. Now I want to bring onto the stage our other members of the crew at Alternate Current Radio. We've got Bryan McClain, a.k.a. Hesher, host of the Boiler Room on ACR, and also Adam Clark, also known as Ruckus, host of the Daily Ruckus, which is also a great podcast on Alternate Current Radio. We'll also put those graphics up here. Hesher, when is the Boiler Room broadcast? How can people watch you?
We go live Thursday nights, usually between 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we would love to have you over there with us for those live streams. If you're new to what we're doing over here, we'd love to see you in the various chats. We're much like this program. We broadcast live on YouTube, X, Rumble, Rockfin, and we're currently shopping for a new audio-only platform. Looks like that's probably going to end up being Podbean once we're ready to make that jump. Little bit of a challenge there, because we have literally thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of content on our old audio provider. So we're looking at moving all that stuff over and reigniting that. But yes, Boiler Room Thursday nights right here at alternatecurrentradio.com and all our video streaming platforms.
Well, maybe our friend Larry Ellison can help you migrate that content over, Hesher, doing some with some big back end databases there from the CIA. Adam Ruckus Clark, host of the Daily Ruckus. Where can people find your incredible podcast, Ruckus?
Well, right at alternatecurrentradio.com is the best place, I suppose. But I understand something I've learned across recently in the past couple of years is people get like addicted to one platform. So they like to use Rumble. They're only on Rumble. Well, the good news is just do a search. There's only one Daily Ruckus. I promise you're going to find it. So search for the Daily Ruckus there. You won't find me on YouTube. You will find me on X. So please do make sure to follow my account, which is AC_WordSlinger. Or of course, just, find Patrick's feed. He reposts me frequently. Thanks for that, Patrick, by the way. Yeah, and I post my actual episodes. You can just watch them right there on X. You can listen to the audio only version still on Spreaker. And they are available, well, whenever I can get them done, basically. And then whenever between mine and Hesher's computers cooperating and talking back and forth to each other. Sometimes it's 2 o'clock in the morning. It just really depends. So make sure that you just, of course, check the website, because as soon as they're available, I make a post and you can find it. Watch it right there. You can skip all the ads because we embed the video right there from Rumble, I believe, currently. So that's where you can find it. And then as soon as I figure everything out and get the all my I's dotted and my T's crossed, it will be a Monday through Friday type program. I'll probably skip Thursdays because I'm always on the Boiler Room. So what I ultimately plan to do is Monday through Wednesday kind of thing, maybe even starting on Sunday, we'll see, and then do something special on Friday. And then also maybe once a month, do a live version of the Daily Ruckus on my own Rumble channel and X feeds and stuff. So that could be interesting. But again, alternatecurrentradio.com is your best bet, folks.
Yep, rocking the OBS as well. Great visuals. That's one of the things that Ruckus is known for, as is the Alternate Current Radio Network. Great creative visuals, great vibe, great community. You guys have built an amazing community there of really amazing content creators and people who enjoy great content and great political discussions, which you've done for so long and which we aim to do here on this platform. So, guys, what an incredible segment with Dr. Zachary Foster. I mean, he's very passionate about this issue, and we could have gone into so many incredible, I mean, there's just so much. It's so hard to, I mean, unless we're doing a daily show and even just focusing on the amount of stuff that's coming out, so many eyes and ears on the ground, so much going on social media, just the sheer amount of content. It's just a complete blitzkrieg of information right now. Pick your topic, and you've got basically 100 different angles about everything. And this particular issue, I mean, we're trying to keep up with it. Got kind of sidetracked with Syria, then that whole fiasco just before Christmas, and watching that country collapse with Al Qaeda coming into power there. And it kind of gave us a breather of sorts from what was going on in Gaza. And now with Trump coming in, another chapter in this story. So we'll see. But yeah, if you have any comments on Trump, Middle East, are you guys holding out hope for here? I don't know if you listened to that segment, or do you think we got problems that are baked into the equation? What do you think? Hesher, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely got some problems baked in there. Dr. Foster mentioned Trump's comments. He made those comments probably in more than one place, but I saw him express those doubts when he was signing executive orders. He says it's a complex, it's very complex. So I can just kind of see, in his face and in his words that this may not be totally up to him. And of course, they released a lot, a whole nother batch of U.S. military weapons, missiles, bombs, etc., which, says a lot considering there's a 90-day hold on foreign aid right now. I don't know if that's a holdover from previous foreign aid. They have some excuse for that or what, but ultimately, I think we can basically just look at the track record, and over 1,000 violations, 100% violation rate by Israel when it comes to this topic. So, we can hope for an end to this ethnic cleansing, but that's about all we can do. And that's, I'm going to stand by and I'm going to hope, but it feels somewhat futile when I look in the rearview mirror at their follow through rate.
Yeah, Ruckus, I think you'll appreciate the black comedy at play here. So these three, not really hostages, I'd call them POWs, because they're three female IDF soldiers that were kind of portrayed in the media over the last year as being these kind of vulnerable young teenagers on a kind of, Israeli kibbutzim, and they were IDF soldiers. And so they're POWs. They've been released here, three of them in this case. And here they are in, I believe this is the car journey back. And if we listen closely, looking very healthy, extremely well fed. As you can see, that one there, she's not short of any calories, and just making a factual comment there. But here they are. And basically, this is quite extraordinary, speaking Arabic. They're speaking Arabic after they've been released. So this is kind of raising my brows. Let's see if we can get some audio here.
السلام عليكم مرحبا. شكرا لكتابك السام على كل المعاملة الكويسة. شكرا للأكل والشرب والملابس. شكرا للشباب اللي كانوا يحفظوا علينا ودير بالو علينا من كاسف. وإن شاء الله يكون الكل يوم سعيد وأحسن يوم وكلنا نكون بخير.
يوم 25/1/25.
السلام عليكم مرحبا. شكرا لكتابك السام.
So guys, I don't know. I like the lanyards, the Hamas lanyards. That apparently the Israelis were outraged that they had to wear this Hamas necklace, as they called it. But these are sort of like conference lanyards there by Hamas. I mean, it's kind of hilarious on one level, because the narrative, guys, was that these girls were being repeatedly raped by Hamas. And so one of them was used as kind of the poster, victim, with the bloody trousers and this and that. And it turned out that was a complete hoax on October 7th. There she is, or in the other one, in perfectly good health. So they're being well treated, and they seem to be very happy. They don't look incredibly traumatized. So this kind of destroys, Ruckus, what do you think? It kind of destroys the narrative that the West and Israel has been trying to portray about these savage Palestinians. Your thoughts?
Yeah, how and why are we seeing this? That's what I'm confused here, because you would think that this sort of thing would be poof, gone, disappeared. We do live in the age of deep fakes, or is anyone coming out claiming, questioning the validity of this? Are they saying this is accurate, that they're really speaking? Clearly, they're speaking Arabic, but and the interpretation, everybody's vetted this and everything. So what is going on? How did Israel allow this to happen? Because this destroys, this one video destroys. How long have we been into this brief conflict now?
15 months. 15 months.
I mean, like, poof, out the window, right? Like, why isn't there more? I don't know. Is it because they can't call attention to it because then more people understand? I mean, is this Stockholm syndrome? There you go. They're going to come out and say, well, clearly this is a clear sign of what's known as Stockholm syndrome. Is that what they're going to say? It's very, very confusing, very odd, very strange.
It is strange. It's surreal, actually. But this kind of like, this is the reality of the situation. So on one hand, with the Israelis, we have reports of, Palestinian prisoners being raped. And then the Israelis are protesting because they don't want the people raping the Palestinian prisoners to be prosecuted. So they had these right to rape protests in Israel, which was just bizarre. This is like Black Mirror sort of stuff. And then we have the flip side of that, which is this. So it's incredible. We are so propagandized on this story in the public, and this isn't the first one of these where the female captors have come out and they're almost like thanking thanking their captives, female prisoners or hostages, thanking their captors as they're being released, giving pretty conciliatory accounts to the Israeli media. So I mean, this doesn't surprise me at all. Actually, I'm not shocked at all by this, because myself, having been in the region, spent long periods of time there with people in the region, Palestinians, Lebanese, Syrians, Iraqis. I kind of know what they're like, and this doesn't surprise me at all that they're coming out speaking fluent Arabic with big smiles on their face, and they probably forged deep bonding relationships while they were there. I'm sure the hospitality was incredible, and that just kind of destroys a lot of the propaganda that you're dealing with savages. Hamas, they must be savages. They're all terrorists. People in Gaza, just bloodthirsty barbarians. That's how it's been depicted in the West, but it's not the case, clearly. But this is just unbelievable. I can't.
There's another alternative. It could be an unknown military tactic, because we're not necessarily 100% privy to the way Hamas uses this concept of human shields. So maybe this is part of the military tactic, is you have to make sure that your human shields are fit and healthy and happy. Maybe that's how it works. I don't know.
It's a double reverse psyop. Could be. or triple reverse. Triple reverse. Oh my gosh, guys. So anyway, as if that couldn't get any weirder. But anyway, we'll no doubt be covering that. Our guest Leila Haitoum, who's an amazing journalist based in Beirut. You guys have probably seen her on TNT in the past. She couldn't make it. We had connection issues, so we'll try to do something with her. She was kind of down in South Lebanon, or she's kind of working, doing journalism in the field. So the connection was a little bit dicey. We'll hopefully be able to get her in Beirut or something like that in the coming weeks. But it's a big shame, because she had so much to share with us. She's such an amazing commentator. But that's how it goes sometimes when trying to connect people on the ground. So guys, where are we with Trump 2.0? I want to get your thoughts on Project Stargate, and our friend Sean Ryan from the Sean Ryan Show dropped another bomb last week. We were going to talk about this last Sunday, but the show got canceled. Does anybody want to tackle that one?
I'm down. Can you remind me what it was? It's been a bit now. I remember just watching a short and sending it to you and just doing a face palm and going, "Oh my God, here he goes again," doubling down.
It was another CIA operative guest or something saying that Al-Qaeda started the LA wildfires.
Oh yes, there you go. No wonder I ejected that from my brain. How ridiculous. Yeah, that Sean Ryan continues to serve up the latest in CIA propaganda. I guess clearly the CIA noted that people weren't buying the LA fires narrative. They weren't buying the climate change narrative surrounding that. Many people were upset that Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and their whole crew of wonderful people going around blaming all of humanity, eating hamburgers and driving cars for the atrocious mess there, and then Donald Trump flies in. This was glorious. Donald Trump flies in, does the mean grip, like push and pull handshake on Gavin there. Gavin tried to clinch down on it, and Donald just starts, jerking it back and forth, and there we go, and then he sits down with Karen Bass and other members of LA City Council representatives, state representatives, and just lays it on them, lays like an hour of him just clowning them, sitting right next to them, and them sitting there having to eat humble pie and pretend as though, no, we're not going to make the people of the Pacific Palisades wait 18 months for a permit to go in and see if they can find their safe. Good luck. People from South Central already came up and looted your safe. If it survived, it's gone. And you know, Karen Bass shrivels down into this little golem-like size and says, "Oh, it'll probably be a week. We just want to make sure you're safe." And you know, Trump's sitting there with Melania, just like, a week. You know, this guy's sitting here. He's ready to get out there and have a dumpster delivered and clean that stuff up tonight. A week seems like a long time, you know. And I found all that to be wonderful. I like that he went to South Carolina. I like that he went to LA. I hope he goes to Lahaina next and gives the mayor over there a similar treatment. But you know, that's all like the PR end. You know, I want to see some answers about how these things actually started. And back to Sean Ryan, Al-Qaeda coming across the southern border via the Darien Gap is not the answer that I don't think anyone is looking for, except maybe your fanboys out there.
Oh, don't you wait. I found it. I've got the offending article here. So again, Melissa Rogers saying, holy crap. There were plans recovered from Al-Qaeda with a proposed strategy to attack America using wildfires, says Tim Sheehy on the Sean Ryan show. This is what I said when the LA Palisade fires started. And so this is what the chattering QAnon classes are saying online. And we'll play this clip here, get your guys' reaction for this. Pretty unbelievable. I mean, as theories go, it's pretty far-fetched, but just so convenient, the timing. Of course, we have intel that was recovered from a safe house in, you know, whatever, you know, some place in Syria or something, whatever. Here we go. Listen to this.
But there were plans recovered from Al-Qaeda that had a proposed plan to attack America with wildfire. Because anyone who's been to the Western U.S. spent time on it, but there were plans.
What do you guys make of that? I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
Why
any terrorist with half a brain would have that plan, and they would also have one for the water or any sort of thing that's going to destroy infrastructure. I mean, it's like basic 101 stuff here. I'm not impressed.
Did Al-Qaeda infiltrate the California environmental groups? Did Al-Qaeda empty out the reservoirs for the smelt fish? Did Al-Qaeda sell off all the water to almond factories and to Alhambra and Nestle? Did Al-Qaeda do all these things? Did Al-Qaeda infiltrate the city council in LA? You know, there's so many factors. Next, Sean Ryan, what's next? Are you going to have someone come out and tell us that Al-Qaeda has directed energy weapons mounted on satellites or global hawk predators or something like that?
No, Toyota trucks, you know, like a whole convoy of Toyota trucks coming over the hill at Bakersfield with directed energy weapons ready to sort of start massive forest fires there. I mean, come on. I've got my buddies in Spec Ops, Signet,
Yeah,
intelligence, and a Navy SEAL buddy of mine called me and he was like, man, here, I'll show you. I got the WhatsApp conversation
shaking,
here.
literally
I
shaking.
was literally shaking, man. And it's, man, I'm serious. Really.
How long is this guy's program, this podcast that he does, Sean Ryan?
He is, I guess, the number one up there with Joe Rogan and the rest of them. I mean,
But how long are these episodes usually?
They're generally
a 10-second clip.
They're generally a 2-hour affair.
Okay. See, I look at these types of things. I'm not going to spend 2 hours listening to the whole thing, but I'd be willing to bet that was such a small, tiny part, and that the vast majority of it wasn't really about that kind of thing. It's more the fault of like that X account there, whatever her name was, doing the thing that they love to do on X, and they take that 10-second clip and blow it up into a narrative that gets spread like wildfire. Speaking of wildfire.
Yeah, here we go, you guys. You know, the Darien Gap, of course, the source of everything. So it's like, if we can connect it to Afghanistan, even better. You know, we left all that kit in Afghanistan, and you know, those weapons are turning up in the Darien Gap. My buddies are all talking about this in the Spec Ops community. just look at this here. I mean, it's absolutely like they're coming to your town. So you guys better button up your schools, and they're just not doing enough to protect you. And thank you to my sponsor there at Whatever Vigilance. I mean, there's also the product sales on this. It's just too much. It's just all too spooky. This is the problem. I mean, it's just clearly if even it's not intended to be a psyop, it's a walking and talking, breathing psyop, even if it wasn't intentionally so. If they're trying to produce content that's like insider intel, you know, war on the terrorist threat, and it's red level, you know, code red, threat level matrix, counter-terrorists, my CT buddies. I mean, Sarah Adams has been raked through the coals. That's one of his favorite guests. CIA targeter. What the hell is a CIA targeter? I've never heard of that job title before. I saw her on the program. And now the California fires. And then there's this guy too. I love this guy. I think this is Guido. This is literally the name is Guido. He's like their special source,
according to them,
or something.
Where you are, this is
some Afghan whistleblower guy who's got like an accent like Cheech and Chong. Clearly, Chicano. Definitely not Afghan.
This is the end goal.
So he's got the Pashtuni hat on. That is the goat herder hat.
They're the same.
Afghanistan. But the accent
never stops.
I'll play you guys.
Are you familiar with Al-Qaeda's goal list, ISIS's goal list? What is it? You are an unbeliever, according to them. Where you are, this is a camp of the unbelievers. They want to purify this. You are the end goal. I am the end goal. This is the end goal. And Al-Qaeda's goal, Taliban's goal, they're the same. It never stops.
I had enough of this in 2014. Guys, I don't know about you, but did you get enough? Is that not a Chicano Cheech and Chong accent? Is that not Mexican?
It sure sounds like it. And of course, this is, I have not watched this entire episode, but all the short clips I've seen, this is an anonymous guest. This is an anonymous source. It could be Jim Carrey for all we know. It could be Sacha Baron Cohen. It could be the guy that wears the rubber Joe Biden mask. I mean, we could just come up with any name, any face, any purpose.
It could be Randy Quaid for all we know.
Yeah, paying his penance to come back to Hollywood, perhaps. I mean, geez.
I mean, look at the visuals. This is just so like 9/11, post 9/11.
Yeah, who filmed that?
Flag burning's nice.
Yeah, the flag burning. Muslims on the tear, and American flag in the background. Don't question my patriotism, even if the stories are totally outlandish and fear mongering.
All wearing M81 woodland camouflage in some of those shots. Like what modern desert army would be wearing M81 woodland camo in these modern times? I'm sorry to do military nerding here, but come on.
Yeah, well, you just don't know enough about the threat.
I'm not a CT bro.
You have not seen the classified briefings, Hesher.
It's Adobe stock footage.
My buddies have, and it's serious. It's worse than you think. It's 10 times worse. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Just making light of it over here. That's all I'm doing. Is you're not allowed to ask questions. This whole we've seen these talking points over and over and over again for 20 some years now, and we've seen
that about 20, yeah,
right, like about the length of the Afghan war, or pretty much back to 9/11, and it's like they used to be pushed on us by the mass media cartels. They were the ones that would launder this information to us. These talking points, these images, these concepts, and then it became more of an internet thing, right? Like in the early Euboric alternative media, and they've I gotta say, whoever's in charge of these programs, these PR media programs, they've really struck, like, it's as brilliant as Elon Musk's rebranding for the CIA propagandists to rebrand their delivery system through Green Berets and Spec Op guys and all this stuff. It's so much more viral. It's so much more believable to certain aspects of certain populations here in the United States. It seems to come with more authority. And for the people that watch Sean Ryan's show all the time, there's a lot of interesting stuff in between the propaganda stuff like that. You know, I think I've mentioned this before, but you can see a 95-year-old World War II veteran on there, you know, or the last living soldier that was at Iwo Jima on there. You know what I mean? There are conversations on there that are intriguing, heartwarming, make you think good thoughts about the military, because there are good thoughts to be had about our veterans and our military. And a lot of people have been profoundly affected by the horrors that they've seen, the things that they've been through. And there's just a built-in automatic level of respect for the host. And it's like, you know, I saw Joe Rogan saying this yesterday. You know, I'll paraphrase, but basically, like, you know, when you have enough eyeballs on you, and people spend 3 hours a day with you, or, you know, 15 hours a week, or whatever you know, Sean Ryan's, you know, output schedule is. For Joe, it's 4 days a week, 3 hours, you know, people get the impression that they know you, and it's kind of true. I think, you know, all three of us can relate to that in a way. We've met people and have people that watch and listen to us every time we go on, and we appreciate you. And you do know us in a way that is hard to fathom when you're on this end of the camera and the microphone. So there tends to be this inherent, like, I know that person's not a bad person. I spend a lot of time watching their content, and, you know, Sean Ryan has achieved that. And unfortunately, you know, this stuff is peppered in between those sort of broadcasts where, you know, you can relate with him, and you don't, and a casual viewer or someone who has that mindset, they're not going to question him. They're not going to question his motives, his intent. They're not thinking about who his producer is, who his producer's talking to. You know, there's a lot of inroads here that have made this sort of rebranding of delivery of CIA geopolitical propaganda to be something that is much more palpable, much more easily accepted by the American people, especially now that podcasts and live streams rule the airwaves. Sorry, CNN. Basil just told us last night that you had to fire yet another 100 people. So CNN could literally close down, and I don't think that the CIA would lament whatsoever, because they know that the most eyeballs are watching podcasts and live streams instead of CNN anyway. So, and arguably CNN's been dead for this sort of propaganda for a long time, because they leaned so hard into the culture wars. You know, that was
because we destroyed it so thoroughly over the last 10 years. But this is just pure propaganda. I mean, I'm sorry. We've been around the block long enough and enough times to see this. Just the imagery and what's being conveyed is really, I mean, I'm just looking at people's reactions on social media to this, guys, and some people are like traumatized by these reports. They're really scared that, you know, there's jihadis in their local town in, you know, Nebraska or Idaho, and they're going to basically set the forests on fire and stuff like that. So, I mean, I listened to his space, and even that Afghani Cheech and Chong guy was there, and it was just a joke. So, I mean, I have a hard time taking it seriously. But it's half of it's entertainment, guys. I mean, there's just a lot of this it's just like it's propaganda mixed with entertainment, mixed with kind of consumable media, you know, subtle messaging, then some a little bit direct messaging. But it does worry us, because when you see, and what my problem is how come Sean Ryan's not doing an expose on U.S. backed HTS taking over Damascus and creating an Islamic State? We've been funding them, training them, arming them for like a decade in Idlib and in Turkey under the auspices of NATO. I mean, do we not have any responsibility for that? Him as a Navy SEAL with all his inside connections, why don't you do an expose on that? That's like kind of long overdue, but you don't see that level of depth. In other words, nothing that challenges the state too much. And maybe that's just because, he'll lose access to what he believes is high value guests and so forth if he does real journalism, basically, because this is not journalism. I don't know what to call it, but I'm just going to call it propaganda.
Yeah,
he's just a useful tool because he's just riding the grift gravy train, So does he look concerned, folks? If you were one of those people who are like absolutely frightened and sucking your thumb in the corner, like, good old fashioned Alex Jones live streams used to do for me. True story. So I had to quit that stuff back in the day. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's sweating it. He's just like, oh, that's cool. He's like, and everybody else is like, running around, and the office is on fire, and they're pulling out their hair, and they're pulling their kids out of school and building an underground shelter. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, he doesn't look concerned. And this just looks like stock footage to me. Like you pointed out, the camo doesn't match. None of this makes any sense. And then to finish it up with the flag on fire was very interesting, because I know there's a lot of talk about how Trump wants to make that illegal, even though that would be unconstitutional. Just saying.
Yeah, protected speech. That's one of the executive orders. No government involvement in censorship and stuff like that. But at the same time, the anti-Semitism bill still stands. The one that Trump put through in 2019, which Biden basically kept re-upped, that's still on the books. And that's kind of like sitting there latent, waiting to be enforced. Some universities have implemented this, Harvard most recently. So that's interesting. That's, all these things will get challenged in the courts. If they get to Supreme Court level, it's obvious the Supreme Court can't mess with the First Amendment. It's been tested so many times in different cases that if any of these cases make it up to that level, they're going to get defeated. The problem is that it takes time to work through the system. So, well, are we going to get a major judgment or major lawsuits with big tech, with the censorship that they've done, denying people, colluding with government to deny people their right to speech, their right to publish, their right to have a media presence? Because that happened in a big way. Or is all sins been absolved now that Mark Zuckerberg has a front row seat with the tech bros? And so, and all the rest of them, is that no longer an issue we have to litigate? Because that went on for a very long time. We're talking years.
Yeah.
Might still be going on, quite frankly.
Yeah, lives ruined over many lives and businesses ruined over it. Families actually destroyed over it. The devil's greatest machine. It's just, it's written right there in Joseph's lyrics. The divide and conquer, that they're talking about there. That's what this is all about. And you made that comment about Sean Ryan not questioning the state. You're going to see what you're going to see moving forward is that it kind of looked like they were questioning the state, right? Like you go back to when Biden was president not that long ago, and the way that they talk about it, they'll question the Democrat Party. They'll question Biden. They'll say that all these terrible things that we're talking about are due to Biden's policies, right? Well, Biden's gone now, and now the conversation will shift. Now you just saw a piece of how it has shifted and how it will continue to shift, which is now the questions are not questions. They're just propaganda, because they're not going to question the state under Trump. They're happy to question one side of the power politic, but not the ongoing policies. And they will continue to blame this on the the failings of the Biden administration and the open border, and the issues they say that groups like Al Qaeda have with America, which is basic bitch, talking points like you just heard there from Cheech or Chong. I'm not sure which it was there, which is they hate you, they hate you for your the old George Bush lines. We're going to go back to that. So really, there's nothing new under the sun other than the packaging, the delivery, the personalities, and the technological aspect here that we're dealing with, and the giant shift in media absorption and where that comes from. So you'll see us go back to a Bush era sort of set of talking points here, where it's just clash of ideologies, clash of nations, clash of religions, and never mind the policies, the funding, who trains, why this has been allowed to go on in Idlib, these occupations that are not called occupations, these shadowy things. So we're going to see more of this, and the rhetoric is just going to change ever so slightly, because there won't be a Joe Biden to blame for it. And if there is, it'll be in retrospect, like, oh, this happened because they left the border open for 4 years.
Yeah, it'll find a way, a sort of workaround. Obviously, Trump can't do anything wrong to a lot of people. They're just really elated that he's in office, and for good reason, because really the country was a hellscape under Joe Biden. Let's be honest, folks. It was really worse than you could possibly imagine on so many different levels. So there is that sigh of relief that we have a new government in, and that Trump is definitely a lot more positive vibes in the beginning of his administration than with Joe Biden coming in. It was just a nightmare from the beginning. Now talk about real journalists. Well, a friend of the show and someone who I respect a great deal, Craig Murray, is still in Lebanon. And I wanted to just share he just uploaded this video. He's down there on the areas where Israel's been bombing, and Craig's there in his suit and tie. I mean, he's just old school as can be. This is a report he just filed today, I think. Let's take a look.
South Lebanon, on the day that Israel is supposed to complete its withdrawal from the country, according to the ceasefire agreement. They have not withdrawn. Netanyahu has said they will not withdraw, but Lebanese civilians are trying to return to their homes, and all over southern Lebanon, the Israelis have been massacring unarmed civilians trying to return to their homes. The latest count we have is 41 people shot and injured, 4 people dead. And these are just people trying to go home. And this is after the ceasefire deal finished, and Israel today is meant to have left. And they're not only still here, they are massacring people. And this is the city of Hiam, which is the largest place that Israel actually managed to occupy during the conflict. And here they've just detonated everything in the city. This is not bombing, this is detonation. We've driven right through the city, and we've probably seen, I would estimate, 1,000 destroyed homes. And that's just what we've seen personally. And this must be what Gaza looks like. It's just extraordinary. I'm really angry to see the level of destruction. We saw a small toddler looking in disbelief at his destroyed home a moment ago, being comforted by his family. This is a microcosm of Gaza, I know, but it really makes you feel it.
Wow. So, it's like Craig Murray, he's there. He's put himself there. He's done some great reporting. He doesn't have, 5 million subscribers like Sean Ryan does. But what Craig Murray has done for the world, for the people of the region, for us, for the world, by putting himself in there, he could easily be enjoying his retirement right now and just kind of chilling out up in Scotland, a little bit of fishing, a little bit of this, what have you. But no, he has inserted himself into the Middle East at great personal expense, financially, physically, politically. He's been harassed by the UK government under the Terrorism Act when he's passing in transit back in the country, like so many others have. And I'm so glad that he took upon this took upon himself this task, guys. Craig is just an amazing guy, but he doesn't get nearly. I mean, Elon's never going to retweet Craig's reporting, even though it's some of the best reporting you could possibly get in the most consequential and biggest conflict of the day. It just shows you how blinkered the whole information spectrum is, and I just wanted to share that with everybody because I got a great deal of respect for Craig for what he's doing.
Yeah, Craig's great. We've had him here on Sunday Wire before. You've had him on your TNT show, and there's no excuse for his work for any of our work. But speaking about him, there's no excuse for it to not be widely known. Same with Seymour Hersh. Same with Freddie Ponton. There's so many people that we could spend the entire show going through the list of people whose journalistic work should be front and center and should have been front and center for the last 10, 20, 30 years in some cases. And it's buried. It's buried in the internet. It's buried in the algorithms. It's as our colleague Hervore would say, buried in the algorithm ghetto. It's just lost, and you have to find it. You have to search it out. And so many people learned this when the Ukrainian conflict popped off. People flooded to Telegram, and then they knew that resource was there. And so did the people of Gaza knew that resource was there, and they used it. And this was mentioned last night on the space. And those Telegram videos were then captured and uploaded to TikTok, where they went completely viral. And what does the U.S. government do? The whole TikTok fiasco. So, it's like, why would you? And Seymour Hersh is like a guy who used to be front and center, right? He was front and center until he wasn't.
He was the GOAT.
Yeah.
He was the GOAT for a long time.
Right. And now he only exists on Substack, pretty much. You never see him on mass media anymore. You have to know to subscribe to his Substack. You have to know to it's the same situation that we're in. So it's like we're trying to come up and elevate our message. We've been doing it for 10, 15 years, longer than that. If you count all the lead up to everything that it took to get here. And they take the greatest of all time. They take him and de-rank him down to where people like us are. I mean, that is a crime against free speech, a crime against truth, a crime against journalism, a crime against our very First Amendment.
They didn't like what he came up with the Nord Stream story. But don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry. It's all changed now because never forget, as of a couple months ago, you are the media. So that's what it's all about. So yeah, everything you've done previous to 3 months ago is null and void. Doesn't exist because that was pre-Elon making this galactic universal declaration that you are the media, or in other words, I am the media. What he's really saying. He's saying you are the media. Anybody that he retweets is the media. Anybody else is doesn't exist, is persona non grata, and that's what Elon's saying there. So, does that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside?
He's clearly making 2 Nazi salutes in that picture, by the way.
Double.
Yeah, that's a double Roman right there. Yeah, it's Roman squared. So there he is. Look at that corporate energy. I love that corporate energy. Reminds me of like Bill Gates dancing on stage at the launch of Windows, which was XP.
XP, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, a guy shaped like a South African guy, richest guy in the world, shaped like his own Cybertruck, doing the Tech Bro CEO launch thing, telling you're the media. You're the media if you're on my platform, all right? And you're the media as long as you read all the stuff that I force into your algorithm, and all the Daily Mail style people I force into your algorithm. You know, you can try to block them, you can try to mute them, but this stuff is still going to seep into your algorithm. You're the media on my platform. That's what he's really saying there.
You are the media. So,
apparently we don't fall in you.
That's right. You're not Ben Shapiro. So, wow, the Daily Wire. Oh my God, it's basically another mainstream network. So you might as well call it CBS, NBC.
Didn't Ben Shapiro do the wall visit with Elon, or the Auschwitz visit with Elon? They went together.
I think both of them. I think Ben was, do you remember Thomas Massey said that everyone in Congress has an AIPAC guy?
Yeah.
Remember that? So yeah, Elon's AIPAC guy is basically Ben Shapiro. So, I mean, what sort of a hellscape is your life if you can't go anywhere without your chaperone is basically Ben Shapiro.
And Elon's not even in Congress or any elected position. That's how everybody gets an AIPAC guy, I guess. Maybe we all have one and we just don't know it.
Yeah, it's like a guardian angel. Everyone's got an AIPAC guy. So yeah, it's like anyway. Well, I'll bring the AIPAC tracker did a profile on Trump. How much lobby money he received in the 2024 election. Let me see if I can bring this one up on stage. Pretty amazing figure. I have to look at the methodology, of course, as to what makes this figure. But let's just take a look at this for a moment here. What are they saying? It's $230 million, according to Track IPAC. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of spundoolies. 230,473,622 Federal Reserve notes. That's what the Israeli lobby poured into the Trump. That's a lot of money. That's $250 million. And I don't think he needed it, to be honest, guys. I think he was killing Biden in the polls anyway. So what is this money? This is basically the mafia coming to you and saying, hey, I'm going to make an offer you can't refuse. Boom. Brown paper bag on the table. And there's no choice. You can't say, no, I don't want the money. No, you take the money. He didn't need the money, guys. Donald Trump could have won without Elon Musk's money, without his endorsement, and without the Israeli lobby pouring in all this cash. That's to me pretty clear just from the polling from April, the spring. Okay. You see how politics works? This is how it works. He didn't need the money, but he had to take the money. And when you take the money, you owe them, basically, or you're serving at their pleasure, if you will. Yeah, that's a lot of dualies.
Very, very interesting AIPAC there. I'd be curious to see what Cynthia McKinney would have to say to this. Former American politician. Many of you probably know her. I'm pretty sure she was the one that's, kind of blew the whistle on the whole AIPAC handler and, letter and all that stuff that a new person gets when they come into office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have to sign like some Pledge of Allegiance or something to Israel or something or other. I mean, just weird. Yeah, Cynthia is amazing. I think she's teaching university in Bangladesh. She's been in Bangladesh and Dakar for like years. I had the great pleasure of meeting her and spending time with her last year in Moscow, of all places. So that was interesting. Hanging out in Moscow with Cynthia McKinney. She's incredible. She's a trailblazer in terms of like the truth movement or blowing the whistle on 9/11. She did all of that when she was Congresswoman in Georgia, and she should have had a great long career in politics, and she would have been a transformational character, but not with those ideas.
She also wanted disclosure on MLK, JFK, and RFK. She was very big on that, and nobody wanted to listen to her. And now everybody's up in a big fanfare of Donald Trump about saying the exact same thing that she said a long time ago. Go figure.
Wow. Are you saying, Hesher, that there was somebody 20 years ago that was pushing for this that wasn't Elon? Or sorry, it wasn't Trump? That's impossible, Hesher. What are you talking about?
Right. And it's so popular now. And how did her political career work out? Well, obviously, if she's hanging in a dive bar in Moscow with you, not very good.
One better. I got one better. Elon tweeted out Operation Northwoods. Said, wow. Wow. I can't believe. Have you guys seen this?
Spare me.
Operation Northwoods. Oh, my God.
Spare me.
People, this is shocking. What shocking behavior by the CIA.
We talked about Northwoods in like our first episode, probably.
Was that 20 years ago? That's when I was like black-pilled on it was 2008. That's when I first heard it. Props to Alex Jones. Without Alex, I wouldn't have known about that, because that was in his film Terror Storm, which was a great little documentary. Alex, when you made films, that you were the GOAT. You made amazing documentary films, and then you stopped making documentary films. But you made some incredible films. I think you lost a touch when you stopped making those films. They were brilliant. He made many, many brilliant films. Alex.
He also surrounded himself with brilliant filmmakers like our colleague Jason Burmis.
Yep. Yeah, Jason Burmis, Invisible Empire. Was that one of Jason's films? Jason worked on Loose Change as well.
Correct.
Before the final cut. Yeah, Jason's amazing. He's from that early sort of generation of truth warriors, real independent media. Back when it was alternative media. Now it's independent media, and that means Joe Rogan is independent. And this guy, you guys, we're running out of time, but I can't leave without making you two suffer. Really, you're really going to suffer when I bring this one up. So this is independent media. I'm going to show you, apparently. So I'm told anyway. This is the pinnacle of independent media. This is somebody who you really should be listening to on all important issues that are happening in the world. Why? Because, well, a lot of reasons. One is that he is a born-again Christian, or in this case, a born-again Catholic, and he is just very, very cheeky and super, super intelligent. And because he has so many subs on YouTube, he must know what he's talking about. You guys, you know the vibe, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know
is it Russell?
Oh, Ruckus has got like extrasensory perception. How did you know I was talking about him?
I know. I just had a feeling. My spidey sense was tingling.
Of all the charlatan podcasters and alt media LARPers, you guessed him. You could have said there's 100 people you could have said. Obviously, we've done.
Well, he's been surrounding himself with interesting people lately.
Who has he been surrounding himself with? Oh, I think a certain JFK's IPAC man, Rabbi Shmuley.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
they're sharing. They couldn't afford an APAC guy for each of them, so they're sharing one.
They're sharing Shmuley. That's pretty cringe, actually. Don't even think about that. We won't go there any further. But
I don't want to know about Shmuley's dance card.
No, definitely, I don't either. Nobody does. It's the only thing I feel sorry for Robert F. Kennedy. I have genuine sympathy for RFK to know that when Shmuley calls, he has to answer. And that really bugs me. Like if Shmuley wants to come and invite himself to a family event or a campaign event or something, you can't say no. You're literally stuck for life. Rabbi Superglue. Okay, guys, here we go. My commentary, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Russell Brand, aka Rusty Rockets, on camera declaring that he is a Christian Zionist and that God is an estate agent or a real estate agent. God is a Century 21 agent with a gold blazer. Then out the other side of his mouth, he's basically saying war and violence is wrong. And I'm saying to Russ, as if these two things were mutually exclusive. Come on, Russell. Seriously. So Russell Brand saying, I'm a Christian. Let's get that out of the way. Good for you. Love that. And I believe that Israel deserves a homeland. That means you're a Christian Zionist. Now we're into some shady weeds here. I also believe that war and violence is wrong. Okay, how do you resolve these conflicting ideological and beliefs, guys? So let's listen to Russell, and we'll get your reaction here. This is one of the world's top philosophers, and he's shortlisted to be a new member of the IDW. That's the International Intellectual Dark Web. Here we are.
I actually do believe that Israel deserve a homeland and that the Jewish people have a homeland. I'm a Christian, so I do believe that. I also believe that war and violence is wrong, and that there is a general sense that the more powerful tribe or group have a greater responsibility to bring about peace in conflicts. So I don't know what that makes me, baby, but I tell you this, Heavenly Father, I pray for peace. I pray that the people of Israel and the people of Palestine can live in peace. And if it is your will, Lord, it will happen. I actually do believe.
All I can say is God have mercy on that man's soul. Your
Blasphemy.
reaction, Ruckus, what do you think about that? I mean,
Blasphemy.
I mean,
I mean, why is he, and his body language and everything, he tries to be crazy. Yeah. If that dude is an actual Christian, I don't say this about many people, but if that guy's a Christian, then I'm a billionaire, Satan worshiping 33rd degree high level Freemason. There you go. That's what I think about the whole thing. He's the ultimate grifter. He found a very convenient grift for many reasons, and a lot of folks can see it. It's kind of obvious.
are you sold by this proselytizing?
The guy's a comedian, okay? Let's face it. Your
It's
roots are in comedy. The majority of your audience are people that watch rom-coms all night on Netflix and then come to you for a little bit of current events, right? Like you look up to him and you say, okay, yeah, I don't like war and death either, but I certainly, have watched enough Sean Ryan clips to know that I don't want to see Israel destroyed by guys in paragliders, and we certainly should make some space in our hearts for ethnic cleansing and genocide so that they can destroy buildings in Lebanon because of the paraglider incident, and then you get into all the other beheaded babies and all that stuff. But yeah, who is your audience, I think, is the big question here. And much like Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, and I'm sorry if I'm slamming any of your favorite comedians right now out there, but they are comedians that have podcasts, and they're not reaching people that have a sophisticated literacy in geopolitics and theology.
I mean, elevating these comedians to the top of society, to the top of political life, guys, all I can say is what could possibly go wrong with
also a good buddy of Diddy. Let's not forget he's a good buddy of Diddy and Ashton Kutcher and all these people right now that are being connected to insane sex cult stuff, blackmail, accusations of being involved in people's murders, perhaps. This is the circle of people that some go to for some sort of geopolitical benchmark, and that is like you've failed before you launched.
No, seriously, you can't. The only political conversations or war or whatever, the only people that get platformed pretty much in the mainstream media are comedians, basically. It's the only acceptable pundit. So on the left, you've got what? Jon Stewart, right? Got Jon Stewart. He's a political news source for people. Does Stephen Colbert count? He's more entertainment, I guess. Not even entertaining, but entertainment. So it's Stewart, and then Rogan, comedian, right?
Don't forget Crying Kimmel. Maybe you already said him, but yeah, he likes to cry on camera.
Kimmel. Yeah, he's Kimmel. Oh, he's crying. Who else? Rogan, comedian, right?
Yeah.
That's his background. He's a comedian.
Well,
So
we'll give Rogan a bit of a entertainment renaissance, man. You know, he's a comedian first and foremost, but he's a few other things too.
fighter,
Sports, comedy,
UFC guy,
biohacking, whatever he's interested in. You know,
There are some
Bryan.
who say Alex Jones got his start in comedy as Bill Hicks.
Don't even go
Just
there.
kidding.
no. We had to go
Start on this, Ruckus, please. Oh, we're in such a good sane flow, and you just had to drop that one in there.
I'm just having fun.
That's like a literal IED.
I think Alex's recent weight cut proves he's definitely not Bill Hicks. If anything, he's like the grandson of Lenin or something.
I actually had to. I was dating a girl who thought that Alex Jones was Bill Hicks, and it was at the time I was doing some work with him, and I just couldn't take it. It was just impossible. We had to split up over that issue. Can you believe that? It's literally. I mean, talk about invading your life. I mean, seriously.
Well, you really were on the forefront of that one.
Yeah, I was definitely on the forefront. Jimmy Dore, who I like. I think Jimmy's brilliant, but he's a comedian, and it's kind of seen as Dave Smith is the new one. He's like the voice of politics and war and peace, whatever. Again, a comedian, and these people will be platformed to no end by Piers Morgan and everybody else. But anybody who's a serious analyst, aside from a few, John Mearsheimer's getting a bit of a look in. But a lot of the really good ones, you could tell that they're not fit to be on any of these programs because they don't want people looking at their body of work, basically.
I gotta give Dave Chappelle a shout out right now. I love that he is not in this orbit of Joe Rogan. You know, Joe Rogan, all the comedians that Joe Rogan is friends with are now all getting elevated, and they're all adding politics to their shtick, which is, weak in my opinion, because where were you during COVID? All of a sudden it's like, okay, it's cool. People get, rich and famous doing this. So now they all want to get involved. But look at Chappelle. He doesn't do that. He doesn't go around and try to do that stuff. And then when he gets a huge platform, if it still is like Saturday Night Live, he'll actually mention what's going on in Palestine, So, I don't always give him shout outs. I've given him a lot of criticism in the past also. But when I compare him to his contemporaries right now, here in 2025, I got to appreciate him a little bit more than some of these other orbiters and barnacles.
No, definitely. You mentioned Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's worth giving a shout out to. Maybe sort of see if we can get Dave up on screen here. That sort of epic, many viral videos. And he did say something, I think, after Jimmy Carter passed away, and mentioned the Palestinian issue, which is verboten in like Hollywood mainstream entertainment. To say anything about it will get you. Has he been on Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle?
Yes.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle, class act.
Been a minute. I don't think it's been since this started, but I don't follow it too closely.
I mean, how many guys? It's a simple thing from gentlemanly observation. How many guys can rock a suit and a tie clip and a handkerchief like that? I mean, the guy is just smart. I mean, not many people can rock that outfit, but he's got class, and he's incredibly clever. And he's absolutely fearless,
Clearly anti-Semitic or something, right?
Yeah, right. According to the new IHR definition, the elastic definition. Yeah, no, great. Got big respect for Dave. Always, especially when he made his comeback, second half of his career, when he came back from South Africa. He's just been there on so many important issues. So yeah, we're very appreciative of people like that are out there. The world needs them. We need them. Everybody needs these guys. So he's one of these guys that can't be bought. Sort of music industry has them, used to have them, guys like Prince and other guys. But they are in short supply, unfortunately. These are endangered species, perhaps of a bygone era. Who knows? But we got to keep the spirit alive. Guys, your final thoughts. We're going to break up the broadcast now. It's been an amazing show. I really appreciate you guys joining us, and thank you both Adam Ruckus Clark and Bryan McClain, aka Hesher. Thank you for joining us on our epic space on X last night. I got some amazing feedback from people that tuned in. They're so appreciative of the conversation that we had with Jason Leosatos. Joe Santos came. There's some crypto with Simon Dixon, some amazing people. So yeah, you guys, thank you very much for joining us. It was definitely an amazing space. We're starting to build up a really good audience on X. And I think people really appreciate the type of conversations that we're having there. So it's something for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great one last night, and a really good follow on today. I'm hoping that Layla can join us another time. Sorry that didn't work out today. Really looking forward to her perspective and enjoy her commentary always. And to Ruckus and you and Dr. Foster and everybody out there watching, thank you so much for being here with us. And we'll look forward to doing it again. You can check us out at Alternate Current Radio. Check out the Boiler Room. AlternateCurrentRadio.com is the website. There's links to it at the 21stCenturyWire.com page on all the Sunday Wire posts and up in the menu as well. And I really enjoyed everything. Some crazy times that we're in, but this is one of those times where we sort of shine. And I always enjoyed the up until COVID happened, I enjoyed the politics of the first Trump presidency. It was a bit of I just found it to be more I don't know if fun is the right word, but I had a lot more fun analyzing the current events during that administration. I found the 4 years of Joe Biden and the last 4 years of Obama to be particularly oppressive. And I know a lot of you feel that way as well, regardless of what you think about power politics and the right and the left being the two wings of the same bird. There's a different there's a different zeitgeist right now, and I really hope that the violence can de-escalate and that financial situations can get better, and we can have it's not going to be perfect. I was saying last night, Trump, could you shut down the ATF, please? I know that's pie in the sky. He's probably not going to do it. Could you shut down Homeland Security? Could you have Tulsi go through there and just sunset it, please? Could you get the skull and bones out of the CIA or just sunset that? Could you get rid of the federal income tax? Maybe you'll get that one. Could we get some justice on the inequities of and unconstitutional attacks of the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years? I don't know. But that zeitgeist flip is not something I want to belittle or forget about, because I really hope and feel that we've got an opportunity here, and we'll have to see how it goes. And we're going to be here calling balls and strikes per usual, no matter what administration it is. I've said on the Boiler Room, especially during the Trump era, this is a show that is probably too left for your right friends and probably too right for your left friends. So join us. That's the whole point. We just want to take an honest take and analysis on what we see happening, with a lot of historical context, and keeping in mind the writings and plans and musings and collaborations of technocrat authoritarians. That's really what we want to do. So the more we have these conversations, the more effective we can be about that. The more we have them live with you and in front of you, the better you'll be at doing that in your circles, in your workplaces. And everybody's enjoying this new feeling of emboldenment right now. Oh, I can say these things now. I can finally say and post these things that, maybe I've been watching and listening to and thinking about in the closet for the last few years, because I don't want to lose the respect of my coworkers and my family, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the cultural tides have shifted a little bit late for some of us, but nonetheless, we're in the middle of a shift. So, don't let it get you down too much. Let's see if we can avoid some of the worst things that we're worried about, like continuing genocide, continuing war, continuing deficit spending, going above our $32 trillion in debt we already are, worrying about financial collapse. Let's see if we can, perhaps by becoming smart citizens and smart media consumers and participants, navigate away from all that.
Absolutely. And much smarter than this, much smarter than that.
Yes.
I'll just put it away for the moment. Ruckus, your final thoughts here before we wrap things up.
Yeah, thanks for having me on all the things, including the space last night, which was fantastic. Yeah, we need smarter people, not smarter cities, everybody. It's fascinating to me that there's this general conversation emerging from the Trump Part 2 administration with the backing of all the techno bros, the technocrats, and that SoftBank OpenAI deal with the Project Stargate and all that stuff there. Now, this is a renaissance when nothing could be further from the truth, because a renaissance was like an illumination of the society that we were supposed to be like. That's when we got all smart again, right? Because before then we were too dumb to read or know things. Why we had high level priest classes interpreting everything for us, including the stars and the constellations, and freaking everybody out with things that were going to happen, like eclipses, and getting them to sacrifice themselves, and bizarre shit in history, folks. Excuse my French. But they want us to think, oh, we're in a moment where we're getting smarter, we're evolving as a species, when they're supporting the exact opposite. We're getting dumber by all these smart devices, all the AI that they're pushing on us. This is actually something that I brought up on a recent episode of my show, The Daily Ruckus, but the AI, we're losing what it means to actually use that muscle, the most powerful muscle that we have, which is our brain. We're offloading all of these tasks that we used to do, like using that brain and creatively problem solving and doing things. We're giving that to the AI, and they just like warp speeded that with this Project Stargate thing. The Stargate, as far as I'm concerned, is far less about the vaccines than it is about, stimulating this new infrastructure for AI agents, which, according to all the job reports you look at, including coming from the dreaded WEF, I mean, everyone's going to lose their jobs this year. I did a reporting about a bunch of new upcoming AI agents and technologies that people should be aware of, but then I followed that up with an episode about all of the stores, all of the retail brick and mortars that are closing down. So the economy is definitely going to be something to keep a very close watch on, and you should check out that X space that we did last night, assuming it will let you hear it. I'm seeing lots of people saying they're having issues with that. We'll look into that. But especially Simon Dixon, his input, and what that lady was saying, Daniela, I forgot her last name. I apologize.
Daniela Walls.
Yes. What she said, very important. There's a meeting coming up by this corporation, this cryptocurrency project called Ondo Finance. They're having some special meeting next week, and this is something I've been hearing about for a year, 2 years in advance of Trump, before Trump was even elected. So this is one of those chosen winners. They're going to use this to basically tokenize everything, but they're going to start with the stock markets. And once you get the stock markets involved dealing with crypto, blockchain, game's over, folks. So if you're out there messing with crypto, no financial advice, but this might be your last chance before they cut us all off. So very frightening things to keep an eye on, in particular with the technology, the loss of jobs. And ultimately, I see this president offering us some sort of like stimulus that's going to usher us straight into some sort of social credit, universal basic income, all the things that we said, oh, no, we don't want that, Klaus Schwab. Oh, no, Bill Gates, we're not interested. And then here's MAGA just like going, yay, you are the media. Feed us your little crypto. Because Elon Musk is about to release his X money, by the way. Final thought there.
Oh, that's all we need. Oh, yeah. More of that. Yes, that'll power the new media on X, the fake news. There's the space right there, guys. Trump, dude, Renaissance or Apocalypse. That's up there. January 25th. That's a recorded space. which we did last night, which was amazing convo. And again, big shout. Simon Dixon came in there and just lit it on fire. I really liked his economic analysis. It all comes back to the economy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to say, it usually comes down to the dollars and cents. So we try to keep our eyes on that. Amazing. Thank you for that, Ruckus. Yeah, we didn't talk much about Project Stargate today on the Sunday Wire. We did cover it. We did do quite a lot on the space there. So again, if you want to get more of that, just check it out on my X feed there. You'll find all of us on the panel. Great discussions, about 4 hours. But you can do that passively while you're doing other chores around the house. And if you want to join the live stream on that, we're usually doing that around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. So, and usually run about a couple of hours. That one went a little bit long, about 4 hours anyway. Kind of late down here in the UK from my time, but definitely worth doing. We have so many great people participating in that amazing forum. But that's all we got time for. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Take care, and do follow. Everybody follow. If you're watching us on social media now, follow Adam Ruckus Clark and of course Hesher Media on X, and you'll find Adam Clark AC_WordSlinger. Is that correct? We got
yes,
that
sir.
right. And Hesher Media there on X as well, and you'll see the links, also their content, which they're posting regularly there. Incredible broadcast today, folks, and we really covered a lot of ground. Pleased that you could join us. And again, apologies to our other guests from Beirut, Leila Hatoum. We'll reschedule that. We'll make that happen, perhaps during the week, maybe next week. We'll see. But we definitely value her input. And thank you to Dr. Zachary Foster, who's joining us from Mexico City for basically weighing in on this. Palestine Nexus is Zachary Foster's publication, plus the courses that he runs there. First class. Everything that Zach does is amazing. So we highly recommend you support Zach and his work. At least give him a follow. Great information there. That's the type of person that you want to be following. But that's all we got time for today. Thank you guys very much. And again, a reminder, if you like what we do and you like the work that we're doing, you like the subject matter that we're doing, the fact that we're challenging the sacred cows, that we're actually questioning the billionaire class, that everybody seems to want to kind of give a free pass on pretty much everything now. Plus, we're going to call balls and strikes, as Hesher said. That's what we're going to do. It doesn't matter who's in power. We have our political preferences and leanings, of course. Just because we're, criticizing the government of the day doesn't mean that we're quietly supporting it, hoping that it does a better job. Because in my mind, anyway, that's true patriotism, is you want your government and your country to do better, to be better at home and abroad. This is why we do what we do. If you want to support us, there's many different ways you can do it. We appreciate anything. A lot of you guys, your regular listeners who have chipped in for this winter fundraising drive, help us to reach our goal, hopefully by February or the end of February, whatever the case may be. This will help us to fund the operation for the next 12 months. And we have a lot of stuff to do in the next year. And we've been doing it for many years now. I want to keep doing it. Thank you for your support. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. This has been an incredible edition of the Sunday Wire. Again, thank you for joining us. Enjoy the outro and the music of one of our great friends, probably Joseph Arthur. We've got queued up here one of his previous videos, but I think all too poignant in terms of what's going on in Palestine right now and in Gaza and the West Bank. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.